our second professor of the day in our phalanx of professors. We have Professor Irene Ng of Dataswift. Irene, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Excellent, excellent. Great. Well, would you like to share your video screen share?
Hello.
Hello. So Irene is CEO of Dataswift, also director of the HAT-LAB. Her vision for personal data and personal data accounts has been an incredibly inspiring one to me and many others, and is leading a whole new wave of applications and ways of thinking around the digital person ultimately. Without any more praise, I shall let her go straight into it herself. She has a presentation for us.
You really shouldn't introduce me, James. This doesn't work.
What can I say?
What do? Do I just share the screen for my slides?
Yes.
Okay, when I'm ready. Right. Hello, everyone. I don't know how many of you are there. I suppose I could check, but welcome. I'm coming to you from my home here in very sunny Cambridge, United Kingdom, where everybody who's working at home will quite realize that you have to deal with children. I have to deal with the over 60-year-old husband, whom I've told not to make any noise while I'm trying to do this. As a man of introduction, just to explain, I am a director of HAT-LAB. I'm also a professor at WMG University of Warwick, a Turing Fellow, a member of college in Cambridge, and also the CEO of Dataswift. Now, everybody says there's a lot of titles, but my take on it is basically when people don't want me to do anything because I'm very disruptive, they give me a title and ask me just to go away. Just let us handle this. So I've been given a lot of titles only because in the name of leadership, and then basically been told, sit down and watch that space. But let me just quickly go on to articulate a little bit of what I do and what we do in Dataswift and HAT-LAB, and a little bit of why we're doing this. I think that not many of you perhaps would understand its history, perhaps understand what is the overarching vision of what we're trying to achieve, and thought maybe today I'll explain a little bit of and how the entities of HAT-LAB and Dataswift and HAT all come together. If I give you this presentation, hopefully we will all make a little bit more sense. I shall now share my screen and tell me if you can see this.
I can now see this.
Can you see this?
Civic technology and COVID-19, the rise of netizens.
Perfect. Thank you. So I have two major roles in the HAT ecosystem. The academic role is what's on top. The photo is in black and white. And then I have a more colorful role as the CEO of Dataswift, which is the colored photo below. So every single time you see a slide and you wonder, am I speaking as the professor or am I speaking as the CEO of Dataswift? You will see a little icon of my face at the bottom right. If it's black and white, it's the colorless professor. And if it's colored, it's the colorful CEO. So let me go quickly into my slides. How many of you actually know this? How many of you have actually gone through your childhood of understanding what this is? James, do you know this?
I am sad to confess I have absolutely no idea what a Turing class is.
Youngjin, do you know this? Or is he still around? Oh, he's not around anymore. Well, for those of you who love dinosaurs.
I'm around, but I don't know what it is.
Okay. So we've always heard about how dinosaurs got extinct. And then you say, oh yeah, some meteor or some asteroid. But some of us who are a little bit more dinosaur-ish kind of geeks will probably know this, how dinosaurs came to rule the world. during the Jurassic Age. And what happened before the Jurassic Age? So before the Jurassic Age was the Triassic Age, of which crurotazans ruled. And crurotazans are actually crocodiles in the modern form, I mean, their ancient form. Today you will see them as crocodiles, a lot of shell and scales. But what happened is, when the oceans started to come in and continents, the Pangea, the continental shift started happening, there were changes to the pH of the oceans, killed most of the animals that made shells. There was this greenhouse warming, decimated many of the reptiles. And because of competition, no more competition for food, early meat-eating dinosaurs like Tyrannosaurus Rex and Velociraptor took over. And that started the Jurassic Age. And if you just came into this talk right now, welcome to paleontology. I am not a paleontologist. I'm a quack paleontologist. In fact, I just read Wikipedia a lot and other pieces of news. But I thought this was quite interesting to understand how dinosaurs came to be. They came to be because of three major aspects: capabilities, resources, and opportunities. And in the Jurassic era, they became powerful. They had capabilities. If you've seen the teeth on that T-Rex, you've seen the ability that it can, the size that it has and its abilities. It had resources, lots of meat around, land of which to roam. And it had opportunities, ways to basically subjugate everyone else, be able to protect certain types of species and look after, and yes, they do, they even form communities. And so they became the elite of the Jurassic era. I use that a little bit to juxtapose modern society and how we think about the powerful. We think about the powerful in terms of what capabilities they have, resources they have, and the opportunities they have to be able to employ these capabilities and resources. And we know modern societies and the powerful in modern society is ruled very much by money and power. And around them are institutions that govern us. These institutions, these structures, these organizations, these governments, they have capabilities. They have resources and they have opportunities as well. But then so do we. We have capabilities. We have a body that is, in economics we call labor. We have the ability to work, to earn a wage. We have skills, we can think, we can logicize, we can create, we can analyze. And we have resources. We have food, we have time, we have energy. These are things we can do. We can then create work. We can create structures and institutions like organizations to do more work, make the world a better place. There are opportunities, there are markets to which we can buy things. We can come together and become more efficient. The combination of that makes today's civil society. And yes, civil society requires protection of the citizen, but it also requires autonomy and agency of the citizen. And that's modern society. And even within modern society, we do have the elites and we do have the powerful, but institutions safeguard against the fact that power cannot possibly, hopefully, be able to subjugate us and take away our freedoms. Modern society is moving to the internet. This is the time where, because of COVID-19, physical globalization, as Yang Jin have said, is weakening. We have already have a connected digital economy where we are the product because we don't have capabilities and resources. But that's okay, because many people think the internet is just a tool, another form of communication tool. Post in one of his historian wonderfully said that the internet is not a hammer. It's not just a place where we can send things or send messages and browse things. It's not a hammer. He said the internet is much more like Germany, where somehow in going in, where in using a hammer, the hammer doesn't make a hammer out of you. but in using the internet, it makes a netizen out of you. So it's much more like Germany, because in going to Germany, Germany makes a German out of you. This is a hi to all my German friends. So in a way, when you move into the internet, you are something. Right now, you are a product. And as modern society moves into the internet, the netizen that is weak, without capability, resources, or opportunities starts to get weaker. The alarming rise of opportunistic apps is being flagged up everywhere in the world. This really, really cannot go on. And with this crazy pandemic that we see, we are seeing a world that is changing before our eyes. We created 7 years ago the HAT microserver. It's a capability. It's something that allowed you to own your data, own some resources in terms of storage and computation. I'm now playing a video. Hopefully I can play a video. Can I? James?
May as well give it a punt. Seems as though you can.
The internet is broken. The advertising is terrible. CEOs.
Never mind. We'll play the video in the channel.
Defeated by technology at the Technology Hackathon.
Technology on top of technology. The HAT microserver is a capability. It is an individual's own database wrapped with microservices. It's located in the cloud. That is what we consider to be a capability. Why? Because the professors among the 7, now 10 universities considered the world of the internet and considered the leveling of the playing field and how we can become more powerful on the internet. If we go back to capabilities, you must have storage and computation. If you think of resources, you must have data. And you, in terms of opportunities, there must be the ability to interact with every application and website. So if you think about what we're trying to do, as a whole group of us trying to do that, and then you start to think, well, where's the money to do all these things? Now, I'm a market design economist by training. A lot of what I do, I just spent 6 years and 7 years, or 7 years in defense, looking at data for coordination. I design very complex service systems. I design complex markets. And as the principal investigator of the project of the HAT, as we started finishing the work on capabilities and starting to understand the role of resources and started to look out and look at the opportunities to take these capabilities and resources into market, I realized quite quickly, there is just no way grant money can fund a change in the internet. You needed to almost create a completely different ecosystem, a market. And you need to use both public funds and private funds coming together. You need to know where private funds should be employed to make this whole thing grow and make it go big in the sense of being able to change the internet. James and I wrote a paper on what happens if you do. What happens if you do get the capabilities and resources and opportunities? What if you as a person could do storage and computation on the internet in real time? What happens if you had data? What happens if you've got the opportunities to interact with every application and website? And I originally called it Homo Dataicus. James disagreed. It is now called Homo Databundus. Much like today we call ourselves Homo economicus or Homo sociologicus, Homo Databundus is the digital person on the internet, the modern internet society. Why does this matter? Because, why does it matter? Because of the fact that capabilities and resources and opportunities free us to become the modern netizen, to have that and engage like a normal market, like normal transaction. We can walk down the street and buy something from the convenience store. We should be able to go freely on the internet, believing that we can be private in some of our most private things and private insights, like the way we can change our clothes in the morning in our own bedroom without being pried on. Modern internet has to be not all private good. There must be spaces on the modern internet of which it's mine, of which I can do private things, private insights, private data, private processing, private storage, and then have the ability to engage with every opportunity out there. 9 universities and more than £10 million grant went into the legal, economic, and technology of HAT microservice. It started from 2013 and went on to 2019, and it's still going on. Led very much and coordinated very much by HAT-LAB. Below there, you will see the two organizations of Dataswift and HAT Community Foundation that was founded in 2015 to start to look at public funds that are not non-grant and private funds that would benefit from the opportunities this technology will bring in. Dataswift was born, and so was HAT Community Foundation. It took a long think and about a year and a half to decide to step away, 80% away, of being a professor at the university to become CEO of Dataswift. But I did so because there was clearly an agenda that needed to be carried by the whole ecosystem. The agenda was very much around governance and oversight. When you give every single person a personal data account, when you give every person a HAT microserver, his own personal data server in the cloud, legally owned by him, in terms of all the data and the content within, you are saying, you are implying that there are no boundaries. There is no country. Everyone is a netizen. What happens then is you run the danger of winner takes all again. You run the danger of becoming a monolithic organization. Hence, Dataswift was started with a mission block of a business purpose of public data, personal data exchange for public benefit. It has a guardian share held by HAT Community Foundation that basically represents the entire whole ecosystem and holds the pillars of oversight, regulation, and data conduct. HAT-LAB continued the work, but all the work that comes out of HAT-LAB in terms of economic and governance and technology would then be pushed into these two organizations to be implemented. This ecosystem provided full governance and oversight to ensure that if we were successful, and it's a big if, these companies would have incentives aligned in such a way that will bring benefit to all. And one of the benefits is going to, in terms of creating new opportunities for normal netizens who have the ability through personal data accounts to engage with websites and applications. That company, which is a for-profit company, is Dataswift, and I'm the CEO. As CEO of Dataswift, we believe in the next 5 years, every app and website on the planet will change how it stores user data. What is Dataswift? Dataswift is a technology company that enables everyone to benefit from the ethical data economy just by providing essential tools to give, take, and use data responsibly. Dataswift sees a world that has opportunities for netizens to engage. Today's world online isn't great. Regulation has already started to come in to make personal data legally and ethically difficult to handle. The last 3-5 years of big data movement has created poisonous waters within the data lakes, because the waters are now full of personal data, some of which shouldn't be there and are incredibly private. What happens is when they become poison, it reduces the collective ability for everyone to benefit from the value of personal data. We see downward spiral of data quality. We see that data is getting poorer, quality is getting poorer, permissions are in decline, legislation and costs are increasing. In the name of protecting us, we see personal data being locked down. Individuals are getting increasingly frustrated, filling forms again and again, using data again and again because companies can't store it. They see that they want an assurance that their data is used responsibly, but they are not getting it. And all the privacy talk is making it very, very difficult to be able to use data. Data going into lockdown. And as Yang Jun had said, organizations are stepping back from handling data responsibly. It's easier to say, let's just not do this, or just lock it down. We are looking at missed opportunity of everyone benefiting from data, of which it is not a good long-term benefit. There are many out there who are defiant, companies that will try to work around the ethics and the compliance. And we see that when GDPR for Europe came into play. And there are many companies that spend on data protection, protecting data and becoming compliant. But we are also starting to be very hard. I'm starting to see companies really spending on privacy by design, becoming trustworthy, being proactive in transparently engaging with individuals. What we want to see is companies that are ethical, that will spend on data responsibility in terms of collecting, storing, processing, and sharing. Our vision in Dataswift is the ethical data economy. We see a time where the value of data is of benefit to everyone. We call this the ethical data economy. When personal data is personally owned, permissibly available, within that ethical framework, we believe we will all benefit from the value of data, individuals, organizations, and society at large. Our mission as Dataswift, to enable everyone to benefit by providing the essential tools to give, take, and use data responsibly. As a for-profit company, clearly we have to make money, even though we are mission locked. And what we want to make sure that when we make money, we're making money from where the incentive to make money is, which is when data actually moves. When people ask me, what is Dataswift? We are the Swift equivalent for data. We want to make sure data moves safely, securely, ethically. How do we do that? We do that by helping organizations, businesses, and app makers to give back control, to build on better foundations, and to help applications and websites rebuild relationships with their users, with their customers. It has been a long time where if you wanted your data shared, Spotify has to give it to Sonos. Amazon has to give it to Apple. We want to be able to have a direct relationship between myself, who owns my data, to be given to an organization that wants it. And we believe there are benefits in doing that. Our product in Dataswift is the personal data account. Through the hackathon, you'll see it being talked about a lot. Our product are the skills to help organizations and app makers build tools and enable PDAs to process data and enable our issuers, personal data account issuers, to issue personal data account to their own customers. Our product helps rebuild relationship with the platform that can get data between the individual and the app directly without third party and not through consent. Governance system to ensure these contracts are fair and equitable. APIs to make sure that there is economic benefit or value at least for both sides, the app and the user. Our product built on better foundations in terms of using the cloud, being able to scale, having a portal for the development and management environment, and the legal code to ensure that we use prevailing laws in terms of intellectual property, guardianship, and contracts. Not laws we made up ourselves, but the actual laws in current society. So that it is not something we created. All we do is ensure these laws are upheld, and we move the data on that basis. And when we say all on the internet, we really mean all. Contracted PDAs for employees and students, whatever roles. You should be able to have a folder in your PDA shared with an organization of which you have joint rights over. But the organization shouldn't have the right to have any rights over all your other folders that shared with other websites and applications. Regulated PDAs for children, vulnerable people, and the deceased. And to have different kinds of PDAs to reflect the different roles netizens have online. The journey is a hard one. Our enterprise clients come in not to straight away start building or operating, but to discover how is their journey to data responsibility and what it entails. The discovery and the design finally to build and operate helps organizations go from being compliant all the way to being ethical. And Dataswift has different kinds of tools and techniques and solutions to help organizations do that. In this hackathon, which is so urgent at this time, it's not just alarming that there are so many apps coming up that might be opportunistic, but also it could be positive. As Yangjin says, this is time of stress, and we could come together and mobilize our communities to do the apps that are going to change the landscape of the internet forever. We could do solutions to empower citizens to help healthcare and government tackle the disease, because now we can use our PDA and be represented and be counted across multiple applications and websites. We can create community care and care applications and technology to help those vulnerable and help communities with some resources to make it through this time. We can help, this is something that's nearest and dearest to my heart. We can help with mass coordination, help create solutions that help mass coordination. Facebook and Twitter has shown mass coordination is possible. The only difference is we've been using it for fake news and misinformation. Imagine if we could use it for climate change. Imagine if you could use it for citizen science and community care. Imagine we could just do it better. I think this is the time when we can really, really try. In Dataswift and HAT-LAB, we enable everyone to benefit from the ethical data economy. And we're not alone. I really want to thank our partners and our participants. And I really hope you have a great hackathon, and I cannot wait to see what comes out of it. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much for that, Irene. That was a really interesting talk. If anyone is interested in chatting more with Professor Ng about her work at Dataswift and her vision for personal data accounts and the ethical tech and the data economy, please feel free to message her on the Ask Me Anything channel, where she'll be around for the next little while, and will generally be in and out of the hackathon for the next little while. But yes, that was a really interesting talk, and thank you for that, Irene.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Now, next up, we